Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is the Harmonized Kitchen. And I'm really glad you've joined me today because we are going to be cooking a complete meal. And you can get just a taste of it right here, right now. And if you'd like to subscribe and watch the whole meal, you can do that too. So the beauty of this meal is that it's simple, it's delicious, and it's comprised of ingredients that we often have in our kitchens, in our pantries, at least around my neighborhood here in Vermont. And you can mix and match these ingredients in different kinds of ways. I'll be talking about that throughout the course of the cooking. So if you don't want to make exactly what we made today, you can try a different version with the same ingredients. And if you're coming home and it's the last minute, you're hungry for dinner, you don't know what to cook, this is a great way to get creative. So let's get started. When I'm cooking a whole meal, I like to start with the thing that takes the longest first. So we are going to be making vegetable pot pie with toasted walnuts and potatoes, a frittata, which is a traditional Italian egg dish with leeks and kale, and to top it all off, an orange hazelnut cake, which is so delicious. So it makes a complete meal. You have the protein from your eggs, you have the lovely whole grains from the cake, and you have a lot of nice veggies in your pot pie. We're going to be using walnuts in our pot pie today, but if you'd like to substitute ground turkey or beef, you can do that as well. If you'd like to add cooked beans in there too, you can. And you can really change it up as you go along. And with the frittata, it's the same thing. The eggs are the base, but then you can put in all different kinds of veggies depending on the season, what's in the fridge, and your preferences, and make a delicious egg dish. So let's get started. Again, the thing that takes the longest first, I've started by cooking down my onions. And as you can see, they're getting nice and browned. And I've cooked them with rosemary, oregano, and thyme. Oh my gosh, they smell like Italy to me. These onions smell incredible. And I've added a little almond milk as well. So you can use cow milk, rice milk, any kind of milk you want, just to give these onions and spices the creamy base that they'll need to be the sauce for our pot pie. So we'll let these onions cook away. And again, we're going to be layer cooking. So we'll add our nice dense vegetables on top, carrots and celery. Carrots are so beautiful, bright orange, vigorous root veggies. Super important for digestion and for eyesight as well. So we'll just chop our carrots. You can chop them any way you want. And then we're going to chop our celery. So just, again, both with the carrots and the celery, remove the ends or any parts that don't look nice, but you don't need to peel them or anything. If they're good quality, organic or local carrots and celery, just use them. The skin has a lot of vitamins and minerals. And celery is amazing because it moves the lymphatic system, the fluid pump of our body. So these nice, dense, flavorful veggies, we're going to add to our onions. And then we're going to just let those keep cooking because they will take a while. And I've preheated my oven to 375 so that once these do get going, we can assemble the pot pie, put that in the oven. Then we'll do the same with the frittata and the cake. So my onions, carrots, and celery are cooking away, and in the meantime, what I've done is I've chopped some beautiful red potatoes and soaked them in water. This is a trick that I learned from my grandmother, and it's a wonderful way to keep potatoes nice and crispy even throughout the cooking process, and also to make sure that they're not as starchy. So I really like doing that. So what I'm going to do is just drain the water from these potatoes and add them right to my skillet. And everything will just keep cooking away in these lovely layers so that the steam rising up from the bottom will caramelize the onions, cook the carrots and celery, and steam the potatoes. And that's the beginning of our pot pie. So As that's going, let's get our ingredients ready for our frittata. We have a leek, which is a wonderful addition. You could also use more onions, you could use garlic, you could use shallots. Any member of the allium family will do. Give it that nice, strong, pungent flavor and ward off the common cold and flu. And I'm going to use kale. I love kale. Any green is a great choice. You can use Swiss chard, which is in the same family as spinach and beets. You can use collard greens. This is what happens to be growing in my garden. I like to use as much of the vegetable as possible and have as little waste as possible. Same with the kale. Just going to chop right on down the line. Member of the brassica family, same as cabbage, Brussels sprouts. All of those guys are cousins, and they're really great because they have a ton of fiber and they help to keep the intestines healthy. They also have loads of vitamins and minerals, and you can really eat greens as your multivitamin without buying a supplement at the store. So now that these veggies are ready for the frittata, I'm going to set them aside to go along with my eggs. And I think I'll add some garlic as well. Garlic, nature's most powerful antibiotic. I'm just going to crush each clove so that it's easier to peel, and then peel them and chop them. And it might seem redundant to add more than one allium to a dish, both the leeks and the garlic. But leeks are very mild and even a little bit sweet, and garlic is strong and warming and very pungent, so they actually work really well together. And when making a complete meal, we want to try to include all 6 flavors in our food: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and umami, which is a rich flavor. That leaves us feeling satisfied. And this meal provides all 6 flavors, which is a beautiful thing and a wonderful teaching from traditional Chinese medicine. So let's check on our veggies for our pot pie. And let's add some of these fabulous walnuts. Wow, so amazing, so rich in tannins. They're super bitter, but they're really good. And if you toast them up with your veggies and put them into any kind of dish, they add that umami. They add that rich flavor. They give a lot of protein and omega-3s, and they're awesome for digestion too. So let's give these guys a stir. We'll turn the heat up. And there you have it. Our beautiful pot pie vegetables, which we're going to put into a baking dish and top with just a little biscuit topping, and we'll let them bake away. And part of the beauty of cooking a whole meal at once is that you can reuse cooking utensils. So now that I've got these veggies ready to go into the oven, I can reuse the same skillet for my frittata and all of the flavors from those caramelized onions and vegetables will make a really nice contribution to my next dish. And in preparation for that, I'm going to add a little olive oil, about 2 turns of the pan, and then I already have my nice leeks and kale chopped up and ready. And I'm going to add them to the skillet. Leeks love to be cooked with black pepper. Those 2 flavors are a match made in heaven. So I always add a little black pepper to dishes that I make that have leeks in it. My dad taught me that. He is one of my cooking mentors. And so that things don't burn, I did coat the bottom of my skillet with olive oil, but I often add a little splash of water, and I'm going to do that today. And keep that heat on medium-low. And then I like to clean up as I go along. So I have a compost so that I can make more soil for my garden, and that's where I put all of my vegetable scraps. To the next dish, which is to finish my frittata. So we have our pot pie vegetables and walnuts, or you could use beans, you could use ground turkey, you could use any kind of meat that you like. We have that baking in the oven. We're going to finish our frittata, then make the topping for our pot pie, and then get the cake together. So here are my eggs. And then I'm going to add a little mustard, which gives a nice spicy flavor. It's stone ground mustard. A little salt, which brings out the flavor. A little olive oil to melt things together. And a little almond milk. Again, you can use any kind of milk that you want. You could use cow milk, you could use rice milk, whatever works for you to make your frittata nice and creamy. And we're going to whisk it together. So here are my whisked eggs. And I'm going to add them to my veggies. And there you have it. This is going to go into the oven, and it's going to harden up and make a beautiful egg dish. So now we've got our pot pie veggies going, we've got our frittata going. Let's make the crust for our pot pie. Here we go. Again, it's just about what ingredients do you have on hand. This is kind of like a biscuit crust. I'm going to add a little bit more of that yummy mustard, and of course some olive oil. The beauty about making a complete meal too is that by bringing the same ingredients and spices back through the different dishes of the meal, everything is harmonious and kind of blends together. And that's a lovely part about cooking for yourself, is creating harmonious dishes. So here I've got some of what I call enhanced flour, which is just flour with baking powder mixed into it. In this case it's spelt flour, but you could use any kind. You could use rice flour, millet flour, whole wheat flour. We'll incorporate our biscuit topping ingredients. And instead of olive oil, you could use butter, you could use coconut oil. And again, I'm gonna add a little bit of milk to get it into a nice doughy consistency. This biscuit topping won't take long to bake, so I'm going to actually put it on the pot pie towards the end of its cooking. So that's done. I'm going to set it aside, and now we get to make our cake. This is the fun part. So I have our beautiful spelt flour with the baking powder, and I've ground up some hazelnuts. So I'm going to add the ground up hazelnuts to the batter, which provides a lot of delicious fat and creaminess. And I did save a few hazelnuts that I chopped up, and I'm going to put over the top of the cake as a decoration. And then I took an orange, I chopped it and de-seeded it, and just mixed it with maple syrup and vanilla. And as you can see, it's really important to catch all the little seeds, so we'll get that guy out of there. And we'll add this mixture right to our flour and baking powder. And as we know, spices really enhance our flavor experience. So in any baked good, you want some fat, you want some flavor, you want some kind of flour, and then you want the interesting parts that bring it to life, the sweetness, the fruit, the chocolate, whatever it might be that you're adding to your baked good. So to hold everything together with protein, I'm going to add an egg. You could also add ground flaxseed meal. I like to use 2 tablespoons per egg as a substitution, or you could omit the egg entirely and use a spoonful of almond butter or peanut butter. And I'll slowly incorporate everything. For a little bit of added moisture, again, my milk. Milk is another overarching ingredient in this dinner. And just keep mixing until I get a nice creamy consistency. I'm going to garnish it with my hazelnuts and then put it in the oven. And we're one step closer to our meal being complete. So here we have our beautiful vegetables, potatoes, carrots, celery, onions, and walnuts that have all cooked together. And we're going to put our pot pie topping on them. And if you want, you can sprinkle Parmesan cheese over the top and seal the deal. So we'll let everything bake for a few more minutes and then we'll have a complete meal. So for recipes, you can visit my website, harmonizedcookery.com. And as always, keep cooking, be well, and enjoy this day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Harmonized Kitchen.